Let's explore, should I keep my AC running all day? That's a great question. We're in Central Florida, AC is essential here. And also in the northern states during the summertime, AC is essential. So we're always gonna need some kind of air conditioning at some point in time. And the question is, should we keep it running all day? The air conditioner is designed to run steadily. So typically it's gonna run 15 to 20 minutes per cycle, meaning, let's say you have the temperature set at 74 degrees. If it's at 74 degrees, the temperature in the house is going to fluctuate because you're going to keep opening doors, closing doors, doing all this stuff. As the temperature changes in the home, meaning the temperature is getting higher, the AC is going to kick in. It typically runs 15 to 20 minutes per cycle. So it typically, if it's at 74 all day and that's where you want to keep it, as an example, it's going to keep running on cycles every 15, it's going to run 15 to 20 minutes, and it's going to shut itself off. It's not going to come back on until the temperature rises in the home again. So if it's at 74, it's going to stay at 74. Temperature in the home starts to rise 75, 76, it's going to kick on. It's going to run through a good 15 to 20 minute cycle based upon how much higher the temperature went. Now, if it's running and you have doors open and it can't reach temperature, it's going to keep running, right? So it's very important that you keep exterior doors closed and windows closed. Don't have your AC running and have the windows open, the doors open, the exterior doors open, because it's gonna run way longer to try to keep up with temperatures. And I know sometimes that's hard with young children because they might go outside and not close the door completely, or they might open windows. So it's important, if you run your AC, that you make sure all exterior windows and doors are closed. There are also other times where the AC might be running too much. And some of those reasons involve undersized, the AC is not big enough for the property, which means the air conditioning system in that home isn't big enough to cool the home. So it's going to keep running to try to cool the home because it's not the sufficient size. So it's very important for you to make sure that the size AC you have is sufficient for the square footage under air. So not the garage or not the patio or the porch, but inside the home, all the areas that's under air conditioning, make sure the air conditioning system is big enough or sufficient enough to cool that particular square footage of interior space. The next thing is insulation is poor. So if you have poor insulation, the air conditioner is going to keep running for no reason. It's going to run longer over time because the insulation isn't good, meaning then that the home is not being kept cool and the temperature is going up faster. This is also the case if you don't have good windows or not good insulated windows. So you want to make sure that your windows are fully insulated and that you have enough insulation, especially in the attic areas, that kind of thing. Be mindful of, if you have a door that leads to the garage, an inside door that leads to the garage, make sure to keep that door closed because the heat from the garage is going to send that heat into the home and then the air conditioner is going to keep running. So insulation will be a factor. Another thing is if your filter is clogged. It's a great idea to change your filter once per month. Period. Even the ones that are sold that says last up to 3 months, don't believe that. It's very important for you to change your filter once per month. Very important. If you're not changing your filters and the filters get clogged, then obviously the air conditioner is going to work overtime because the filter is clogged and the air is not circulating the way it should. So it's very, very, very important for you to change your filter once per month. I spoke to an air conditioning guy one day, and he said, especially in the summertime when it's really hot, even if you decide, I'm going to change the filter every 3 months. That's what it says on the label. This is good, but make sure in the summertime, at a minimum, you're changing the filter once a month because you'll be surprised sometimes how much dirt and stuff gets in that filter when it's not changed monthly. Another thing is ducts leaking. Make sure your air conditioning ducts are not leaking. If the ducts are leaking, not only is it going to create mold on the older units especially, but it's not going to cool efficiently, so that's going to be a problem. And the next thing is, do not set your thermostat too low. So in our area,
need to buy or sell fast? Make one call, that's all. And put our 23 years of experience to work for you. Gift Group Sells Homes is the way to go. Call for 07-791-4713.
we're in Florida and it's hot. So we normally set our thermostat a 72 to 74 degree set is pretty cool if all the doors are closed, if the home is insulated correctly, and if people are not going in and out, and if you have good insulation, all that great stuff. So setting the thermostat between 70 to 74 is great. When you start to get up in the 60s, this is where you could freeze your system. And this is where if the system isn't sufficient, it might run and burn out and freeze up. And this is also where if you're not changing your filter correctly, you could run into trouble. The air conditioning system could freeze. If there's any leak on the line, like, it's leaking Freon or whatever it is, that will also cause the system to freeze. So it's also very important that you get maintenance done on your air conditioning system every 6 months. So the goal or the rule to maintain an air conditioning unit is changing the filter once a month and having it serviced once every 6 months. When they service it once every 6 months, they're going to drain the lines. Now, when you change the filter once a month, you should probably add also a cup of vinegar in the drain line. This allows the system to flush anything that's clogged up on the lines and also prevent mold or anything from forming in the lines. Back in the days, they used to say bleach. Now they're saying bleach is too harsh. Don't use bleach. Use a cup of vinegar. Lowe's, Home Depot, and other department stores sell these tabs. It's called drain line tabs that you could put a tab. A lot of property management companies use these tabs to put down the drain line to keep it clear. Now, it's important if you have an older unit that when you check it every 6 months that you're checking it for mold, because mold could build up also in the line. And if mold is built up in the line, they have to do what is called this UV light that they use, that they have to install in the ducts itself to kill the mold. So it's very important that you keep up on this. Make sure that you're changing the filter once a month, especially in the summertime. Make sure that you are getting it maintained every 6 months, that they're clearing the line. They also suck the line out when they do their semi-annual maintenance. So make sure that's being done. And also make sure you don't have any mold being built up, so you need to get UV lights in the system. Also make sure you're doing duct cleaning. Duct cleaning can be done, some people say once a year, some people say once every 2 years, some people say once every 3 years. So I would say based upon the usage of the system, right? So I would say once every 2 to 3 years may put us in the clear. At least once every 2 years, make sure you're getting the ducts cleaned and cleared and checked. So if there's any duct leakage, you could catch it before it gets too late or before it gets too bad. Now, if you're doing all the stuff that we just discussed, then your system will run the way it's supposed to run, which should be a steady, consistent flow, and it should be kicking on and off as the temperature rises. It should be kicking on to keep it back at temperature, and when it gets to temperature, it's going to shut off, and it should not come back on again until the temperature rises. Now, you can control the rise in temperature by, as we mentioned before, keeping all exterior doors closed, keeping the windows closed, and making sure your thermostat is not unrealistic. For an example, if it's 95 degrees outside and you have a thermostat set to 65, chances are the AC will never get to 65. It just won't. Most of the time, we'll probably get up to the 70s, maybe 69 if you're lucky. Overnight, it might drop to 65 as temperature drops. So we must be realistic. And that's the one thing they tell us when any air conditioning guy comes, any AC tech or HVAC tech. You have to be realistic with outside temperature. If outside temperature is 95, setting your thermostat at 74, 75 may be ideal. If outside temperature is 95 and you set the thermostat to 65, it will never get to 65. It's going to just run all day long for no reason because it can't get to the temperature, right? So you have to make sure you know the differential in temperature. 72 to 74 temperature is good for most people. And it's a great idea if you're like, nah, Sandy, that's ridiculous. I gotta get colder than that. Then add ceiling fans. There's some beautiful, really great, energy efficient ceiling fans that will keep the home cool, right, without you having to raise the thermostat. And I always tell my clients, just have a ceiling fan in every room, because everybody's gonna have a different temperature. Maybe mother is going through menopause. Maybe father doesn't want to freeze. Maybe the siblings, one is cold, one is hot, one is in between. One just want to be hot all the time. So it's a great idea as a family unit to have a set temperature and the thermostat itself, and then have ceiling fans so each person in each room can, have their extra air or extra cooling going on, and you don't have to put the thermostat at 65 to freeze the home. or to keep the AC running all the time. Now let's talk about when you leave the home. What about when you're going away on vacation? Should I turn the AC off? But that's not a question. That's not a question we get that's very popular. I would say if you're going away, I would say leave the thermostat at 78 or 79. So if you're going away on vacation or something like that, leave it at 78 or 79. That way the heater will still run and the home won't be hot. Because think about when you're coming back home. When you're coming back home and you walk into a very hot home, let's say you turned it off, it's going to take a lot of energy to bring the hair back to temperature, right? Because if you went away and it was 95 all day long and the AC wasn't on, it's obviously going to be 90 or 95 in the home. And think about how long it's going to take to cool that down. So I would say 78 to 79 would be a good time to leave it. A lot of people now are able to control their air conditioning system on their phone and their app. So you could always bring it to 79 when you're away, and when you know you're coming back, maybe a few hours before you arrive home, you're bringing it back down to 72 or 74. I do not recommend that AC goes on below 72 at all, right? But I know you're gonna throw tomatoes. Like I said, tomatoes coming, hitting me in my face. What are you talking about? Shut up, girl. Well, what I'm talking about is 72 should be great. 68, 70 fine. But you don't want to go up to 65. 65 is really gonna put too much pressure in running the unit, especially on a very hot summer day. That is really going to put a lot of pressure in the unit. So I would say a safe bet is between 68 to 72, right? Okay, so stop the tomato throwing now. I said 68 to 72, okay? But anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. I will see you on the next one, and play around with the ideas I just told you about and see what happens. The air conditioning system, once set to 72 or 74, is going to keep an even amount of air. It's going to keep the house really nice and cool. If you need to bring it down, I would say don't go below 68. That's just my opinion. What do I know? I am not the HVAC tech. All right, guys, I'll see you in the next video.
Need to buy or sell fast? Make one call, that's all. And put our 23 years of experience to work for you. Gift Group Sells Homes is the way to go. Call for 07-791-4713.